Hello, everyone. My name is Gortarez. I am in CHAS. My mentor on this project was Dr. Brandon Brown, and my project is titled The Category Being Me, a dialogue between race, culture, and identity. Here is my aesthetically pleasing title page. Uh, okay, so as my project title implied, my project focuses on the complexities of identity. So, what is identity? Identity is the qualities, beliefs, personality, and features that make us who we are. There are two main types of identity I want to talk about. The first one is social identity. So, social identity is a person's sense of who they are in relation to the rest of the world. It is based mainly on the groups and categories that they are placed in. Personal identity is how you see yourself. And while personal identity is extremely important, it is not common for personal identity to contrast greatly with a person's social identity. By nature, humans are drawn to be a part of groups. These groups can now be classified in terms of race, gender, physical features, or interests. All of these aspects in reality combined to at least attempt to answer the question of who are you? One way that people categorize themselves is through culture. Culture is, in essence, a guide to life. It includes norms, which are rules of behavior, values, which are fundamental beliefs, symbols, which are anything that represents something else, structures of power, and really importantly, mental maps of reality. Mental maps of reality are used to institute a model for understanding and interacting with the world around us. Based off these definitions, you can see that culture and identity overlap, which brings me to my next slide of what is being addressed in my project. So cultural alienation, which is, as I'm defining it, the process of being removed or abandoned by one's own culture or cultural background. It has an effect on one's own perception of their identity. The main question I focused on, which I said in my previous slide, is who are you? With who are you, there comes implications of identifying with a member as a group that can reject you because you lack knowledge of a certain important identifier. These identifiers can be language, geographic location, even just family name or physical features. So why this event occurs, why cultural alienation occurs. A lot of times we can only speculate just because it happens very often and it happens in different forms. Here we have terms like melting pot, which is very popular in America and encourages the blending of cultures and in a way dilutes them. From this comes times when people question whether or not they are enough or act enough like their cultural category in order to be universally accepted there. It's often attributed to being quote unquote whitewashed. A lot of times people do not have control over their own identities because of stereotypes on how people should exist. People are placed into cultural categories or categories in general by others who make it impossible for them to have a self-determined identity or makes it so they constantly have to defend that identity. So the process of my project began with a general questionnaire. The general questionnaire was used mainly to vet participants. It had a set of 9 multiple choice questions with 2 fill in the blank questions or spaces for participants to further elaborate on anything that they wanted to. After vetting the participants, I was able to set up Zoom interviews with one participant, of course, requesting to interview asynchronously. I gave each participant a set of questions in advance to help them prepare for the interview process. My interview structure, though, was very semi-formal. So we went off the questions and sometimes we just went wherever we wanted to go. Lastly, I was able to complete all of the interviews. I edited and created a mini series with all of their responses. And here is the process of my mini series. So the main project includes interviewing UCR undergrads via Zoom. I then used the interviews to create a 6-episode series. with 2 episode arcs. So basically 6 episodes all split up. And the 3 categories I used were societal, familial, and self. The first arc focuses on any societal influences, like how you're perceived by society or the identity they give you. The second arc, which is familial, considers that cultural alienation revolves around feelings of disconnect. There are often feelings, these are often residual and bleed into the family aspect, especially when your family is supposed to be the integrating factor or the gatekeeper for your culture. Lastly, I wanted to focus on the self and how all of these factors influence how somebody identifies or sees themselves. And I have here a little 2-minute trailer. If you guys could let me know if the sound comes through. Good.
We're not seeing anything or hearing anything.
No. Okay. If I restart the share, do you think it would show up?
Yeah, you can stop your slide share and then share your video. When you click the share menu, you see an option in the bottom left for share sound.
Okay.
And then just be aware you have 3 minutes remaining.
Can we hear it? Was there any
Nope.
sound? No, okay.
No sound. Yeah.
I might have to take my headphones off. We'll see.
The other.
I
feel like kind of lost, if that makes sense. Because I feel like I'm not fully American, but I'm not fully Hispanic in a way. So I feel like I'm caught in the middle, like in purgatory, basically. Like I can't be one because I won't be accepted as that, and I can't be the other because that's just I don't agree with some of the ideals and stuff like that, and I won't be accepted either. So I feel like I'm kind of just like a mixture of the two, and I don't know I don't know if that's good or not, to be honest. Like I don't know if I'm getting like the good aspects of the two or not. So I'm kind of just stuck in purgatory, if that makes sense.
I don't get asked for evidence for my ethnicity, but I sometimes feel like I need to like be like, oh, like say the words, like connect with them, like say the food and prove that you are one. Prove that you are one with the people.
Oftentimes like they'd be so surprised, like sometimes like they would argue with me about it, like I don't understand why you're arguing with me about my own ethnicity and my own race and how I identify. It's just really irritating.
If someone were to call me whitewashed, I feel like they're devaluing my Mexican and Honduran side, you know?
Has anyone ever called you whitewashed?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's kind of hard to tell your mom, like, or your parents, like, hey, I feel kind of excluded and isolated from our family. Like, I don't think they would like understand the depth of how that feels.
I fall into multiple structures, therefore I don't fit in the structure in any capacity fully, so therefore there's something wrong with the structure if it doesn't account for everyone.
I feel like I'm not as smart as I think I'm supposed to, I'm supposed to be, because like Asians are supposed to like be smart, like all like the STEM, so science and math and stuff like that. So I felt like, oh, like I'm not following like what I'm supposed to be.
All right, and just to conclude, I honestly did not plan for this project to solve any issues of cultural alienation. I didn't plan for it to conclude on anything. I just wanted to create a space for this conversation to occur. It was the ultimate goal of the project, and I feel like I succeeded and I was not at all disappointed. The conversations I had with all the volunteers were excellent and helpful, and it helped me to see that all of our identities, our cultures, our existence in the world is very, very similar, and we share a lot of the same experiences. It was a great opportunity for me to realize that in order for us to find community, we just have to create the space for ourselves. And we do that by determining who we are. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I have a question, if I may.